Hello, it's Christina from LadyBug. Hi. Welcome to my channel and my video. This month we are linking up with Abby and Amy from Vlog Stars number 7. This month's topic is to tell a story about the birth of your child, how you met your partner, or a story about where you live. So I'm going to tell a story about little LadyBug. Bumblebee Boy is with me today. He's currently trying to get my attention, so do forgive me. So my daughter was born. She was due in January, the day after her due date. That morning I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden I felt her moving around, and I felt this little bit of pop and goosh of moisture, and my waters had broken. So I got up, made sure that everything was okay, made sure there's any signs that something was not well. But then I went back to bed, waited till my husband's alarm clock went off at 7, and just enjoyed the peace, because I knew it was going to probably be a long day. So my husband woke up. I said to him, "Hey, I think my water's broken. My water's broken. I think, no contractions at this point, but I thought it was probably time to start moving towards the hospital." So we called the hospital. They said, "Come and get it checked out." My husband, I said, "Take a shower, have some breakfast. Who knows how long it's possible to be, so just get ready for a long day." So we got to the hospital. We had the monitors put on. The baby's doing well. There wasn't really any contractions. So we just kind of got monitored. I had this lovely midwife who was her first day at the hospital. I believe she was French, which, bless her heart. With my American accent and her French accent, we did have some communication issues, but that was beside the point. That was just funny, trying to, but she basically said to me, "Well, if you don't have this baby in the next 24 hours, then, or you don't get contractions, etc. in the next 24 hours, then, come back in tomorrow morning." And I remember thinking, "Oh, I hope not. I don't want to have to wait 24 hours to meet this baby." They basically said, "Head on home. Give us a call later if you start having serious contractions, blah, blah." So we went off. At that point, there was contractions. I remember driving home. I wanted McDonald's. So, what you want? Chocolate milkshake, French fries, cheeseburger, or chicken nuggets, I think it was. So we got home. By the time we got home, I was having serious contractions. We put the TENS machine on, and I went about just trying to relax, using the ball. I ended up spending most of the time in the afternoon just sitting on the toilet for some reason. It just felt more comfortable. But so then it was getting pretty serious, and I started to get kind of thinking, okay, the TENS machine was bugging me. I started to think, well, this is getting kind of serious. I hope it doesn't, I'm handling this fine at the moment, but I hope it doesn't get too bad, because this is just getting a little intense. So we called the hospital. I talked to this midwife. She said to me basically, "Go take a bath. You're a first-time mom. You don't seem to be that much, don't seem too much panic. Just go take a bath." So my husband made me a bath. I climbed in. He looked at me in the bathtub and said, "Get out." He literally said to me, "Get out." Because I was seriously I was in a lot of pain at this point. And I thought this was getting pretty intense. Excuse me, I'm adjusting the camera. So he said, "Get out of this pool, get out of the bathtub," because he was really afraid at that point I was going to actually have the baby in the bathtub. So I jump on my clothes, we grab my bags, we rush off to the hospital. We get to the hospital and realize we've actually forgotten my medical notes at home. So we walk into the birthing center. They say to us, "Oh yes," my husband said, "I forgot the notes." They said, "Oh, go back for them. It'll be a while. Don't worry about it." At this point, I'm in the bathroom. Like literally feeling like I want to push. I felt like I had this extreme pressure on my cervix. Really thought this was probably regressing anyway. But they said to my husband, "Oh, we'll be hours. Go on home, drive home, get the notes, come back." And then they say to me, "Get out of the toilet. Get off the toilet. Come in here." Okay. And so I laid on this bed, and they went through this process of asking me all these questions. They gave me a little bit of painkillers, which didn't seem to be doing anything. But every time I had a contraction, they say to me, "Don't push." Now, excuse me. They weren't horribly together. They weren't horribly long, but I just had this horrible feeling of wanting to push. But anyway, So after 45 minutes of sitting there, going through my medical history with them, having this discussion with them, they finally said to me, okay, we will examine you. They didn't want to initially examine me because they said, well, once we initiate, we may introduce bacteria, blah, blah, blah. So they stalled. And then they examined me. I had two midwives. I had a senior midwife and a training midwife. The training midwife looked at me and said, oh, you are fully dilated. Oh, I can see the head. Oh, I guess if you want to push, you can start pushing here. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, my husband is not here. You've sent him away to get my medical notes. Interesting. Anyway, but they moved me next door to the next room. And they said, we'll give you some gas and air. So they started giving me gas and air, which basically meant that I lost all motivation to really push. I was nice and happy, waiting for my husband, looking at the clock. I did call him. I did text him. But they said to him, don't panic him. Don't leave some dramatic message. Just ask him where he is and tell him that you'd like him to come. So we waited. And I was and they kept monitoring the baby. And eventually kept going, well, you really need to start pushing. It is getting kind of tired, the baby. But I could, my husband will be here. So we kept, every time the outside door into the birthing center would open, we would listen to find out. We were only a couple doors down from the entrance. Listen to see if it was my husband. Because we kept thinking, okay, need to get here. So eventually there was this door, the door opened. You could hear someone say to him, she's in there. Because my poor husband went to the room I initially was in, and all was left in the room was a pair of shoes. He was a little confused. But then they said, oh, yeah, she's next door. So he came in. Now, mind you, every time I had a contraction while my husband wasn't there, they actually used my camera and filmed a video just in case the baby, my child, decided to come flying out. They wanted to make sure they captured it for my husband, which I thought was nice of them, but it was a little bit, So anyway, at the end of this video, I probably will insert the audio of my husband, because my husband knocking on the door and him coming in and me saying, it's time. So my poor husband walks in. I'm, ready to push. It's all happening. He had no warning. And they start saying pushing. Now, it did take about another 45 minutes of me shifting around. But Ray came out fairly quickly. So she came out. She was a little bit stuck in for a moment. So I had that moment of where they pushed the red button trying to get more midwives to come rushing in. But, which they never came, which was funny. But I just jiggled a little bit and she came out and she was fine. She was beautiful. She breastfed right away. Honestly, 10 toes, 10 fingers, perfect little baby. My husband got to announce to me it was a girl. We didn't know what it was. He'd already picked out the name. So it was one of those just magical moments. So we were at the birthing center. She was perfectly healthy. They eventually gave us some toast and tea, which was the most delicious meal I'd had for ages. I don't know what it is. Something special about hospital toast and butter and tea right when you're after you've given birth. It's just something so magical about it. But anyway, so she was born about 6:30 or so, around about that. And within a couple hours, they kind of decided, you could go home if you wanted. And so we weren't. We walked out of the hospital right before midnight on her day she was born. I felt like I was stealing a baby. It was the weirdest feeling in the world. Walking that morning, there was two of us, husband and I, and now we were walking out with this beautiful baby girl. And so yes, our first night at home was very peaceful. It was very relaxing. We didn't really sleep very well. Obviously, every time I closed my eyes, I was reliving this most magical day. And so was my husband. So we kind of took turns snuggling with her all night and enjoying her. So it was very much, in a lot of ways, like the perfect first-time birth. She was very healthy. She was lovely. The midwives kind of forgot that we weren't, they kind of didn't understand, or the hospital was delayed in telling them that we had actually got home. So so we didn't have that initial, you wake up the next morning after coming home and you have a midwife showing up at your door. Actually, it was another day, so we had a whole day, just the two of us, just the three of us to digest before my lovely midwife, community midwife that I actually had known through my pregnancy, showed up to meet our little girl. So, honestly, it was a lovely birth. Someday I'll tell the story of my son's birth. It was a little bit more traumatic, but still not horrible. So thank you. I know this is a very long video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll put some, maybe some audio and a couple photos, her first photos of her. So take care. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.